So I have to know, did you guys get married while you were both still at the store? Because you guys weren't together whenever you got hired.
We were not. We weren't even dating then. No, actually, only me. We got married at a Pinnacle retreat in Florida. So Jonathan Dawson was actually the officiant. Ollie Rita walked me down the aisle.
Cool.
Oh,
and Frank Trinity was Jesse's best man.
Oh my God.
That was
so.
Hi, friends. We are back as the Chicks in Charge, and today we have a very special guest with us, one that has proven through resilience and kindness and love that you can do literally absolutely anything. And we are super excited to announce that Traci Shepard with Jim Falk Motors is our guest today.
Hi, Traci.
Hi, Traci. How are you, friends?
We are doing well. Welcome to the show. We're so excited that you're here to share your story. Thank you so much for the time that you're putting in with us.
You are very welcome. I'm excited to be here.
So for those that are listening that don't know, tell us who you are, where you are from, and how you found your way to the automotive industry.
So my name is Traci Shepard. I live about an hour outside of Kansas City. I sell at Jim Falk Motors. We are a Chevrolet GMC dealer, and we are in a town of 9,000 people.
Whoa.
Wow.
So little bitty town.
That's got to be rough. Are you guys like the biggest dealership in the area?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would say that, yes. I mean, without a doubt, there's other dealerships, there's 3 other dealerships in our town. But we are definitely successful at what we do.
Right. How did you find your way to Jim Falk?
So, it was a very funny story. My background is rent to own furniture. I had 5 stores, Bolivar, Stockton, Warsaw, Clinton,
small towns.
Yeah, all small towns. And we had sold those out. I had moved to Clinton, made the move here from Bolivar. And one day I just decided I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm ready for a change. So I actually quit my job with no backup plan. And I didn't have any idea what I was going to do. And one of my friends, I'd posted something on Facebook, just said, hey, anything hiring in the area? And one of my Facebook friends actually is like, you should come and apply at the dealership. And I was like, I don't know anything about cars. I'm not going to do that. And he's like, no, you should. So I applied and met with our executive manager, Mary Ann, who is an amazing lady, very, very strong leader at our dealership. And during the interview process, I was like, I don't know anything about cars. Nothing. I don't know that I can do this. And I don't like doing things that I'm not going to excel at. And so she had talked to me and she's like, you don't have to know anything about cars. She'll figure that out. Mm-hmm. You need to know about people. Buying a car is the second most important purchase someone's going to make in their lifetime.
Right.
So it is my job to guide them, direct them, help them through the process and, really feel good about it. Buying a car doesn't have to suck. It doesn't have to. And it shouldn't. It should be fun. It should be enjoyable. You should make a friend. So
absolutely.
That was what the goal was. But it was really hard.
Yeah. Really hard. So now you're going on 6 years, but in the beginning, making that transition from the rent to own furniture business that you owned to now walking into a dealership, working for somebody else and doing something you've never done before. What was that like for you?
It was really overwhelming. And anyone that knows me well will laugh at this, but I cried every day. Sorry, Frank. But I did. I cried every day. There were a lot of tears. It was just so overwhelming. At that point, there was only one female that was on the sales team.
Wow.
And so it was all guys, they weren't necessarily nice. it was hard. It's just really a hard industry to crack.
Yeah.
And it took a lot. And I knew that I wasn't very good. And I'm not okay with not being good at something. So it's like something's going to have to give. If in order for me to be able to do this, I'm going to have to make some changes.
Right. So when you first applied and you met with Marianne, you said her name was, that was the executive manager. Did that help you feel more comfortable working somewhere where there was already women in leadership?
Absolutely. And she was at the tower at the point that time. Her office is in another building now, but at that point, she was actually at the tower on the showroom floor every day. She would be going through all of the leads. She would be dispersing them. She was hands-on daily with the sales team. And so it was really cool to know that there was someone that was there. The other lady that was on the sales team at the time is now a finance manager at our dealer.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
We have a lot of strong ladies at the dealership. Our dealership is very female friendly.
Good. And now they have you, and you're leading the way.
So how many cars are you selling now, 6 years later on average?
On average, 30, 40. Wow. Highest number has been higher than that. I mean, there have been lower months, but as an average, 35 to 40.
And remember, guys, this is in a town of 9,000 people, and she's selling 35 to 40 cars a month. How many cars is the store selling as a whole right now?
Over 200.
Wow.
Over 200.
That's crazy. I know dealerships here in Joplin that in a Joplin population is over 50,000, but we have a lot of subsidies around that probably equal close to 100,000 of traffic within a 25-mile radius, and they're impressed with 20 cars a month. Mm-hmm. So that's like huge that you can be in that much smaller of a town and be putting out that much traffic.
We have an amazing marketing department, and we have a very strong Facebook presence. I have a very strong social media presence. And I have a lot of repeat and referral customers that are very loyal.
So your social media presence is absolutely interesting. I think it was one of we met in October, but I think that one of the ways I first connected with you on Facebook was through a Facebook group. And we connected, realizing how close we lived together. And I started seeing all of your posts. And your branding is a whole lot different than what I see from other salespeople. You really have your own branding, your own story that you're telling. And as we can see from your background, those of you who are watching, not listening, or I guess you're watching and listening, but if you're not watching, you can't see her background, but she has this background that has a license plate with Kansas, has her name on it with sunflowers, the yellow brick road, some keys. So tell us about what went into building that.
So I worked with a really incredible designer, Anthony, and we went back and forth a lot, just getting everything just right. I knew in my head, I had an idea. I knew what I wanted. I just didn't know how to pull it all together. So I am from Kansas, and one thing that you will always know about me is how important my roots are. No matter how successful I become, the reality is I am just a small town girl from Kansas. And that is really important. I never want to forget where I came from. So you'll see the yellow brick road. The yellow brick road takes you to your car keys. And so the sunflowers, I probably sent those back 100 times. And it's like, but those aren't Kansas sunflowers. Right. Those aren't the right color. They're not the right shape. And I think he was about ready to just, he's like, oh, it's a sunflower for crying out loud, but it wasn't my sunflower. So I want you, when you have your car buying experience with me, you may not remember my name, but you will remember, hey, it's that girl from Kansas. It's the sunflowers. Something to remember who I am and who to ask for.
I love that. And you have quite a story from Kansas and how Kansas really resonated with you and helped you overcome some serious obstacles. Are you comfortable sharing that story?
Of course. So to begin with, I was a teen mom. I guess I hadn't shared that with you. I was a teen mom, not once, but twice. And I have some pretty amazing kids that are all adults now, but I was determined to not be a statistic. You know, you just have to dig deep. You have to really dig deep and find out what is going to make you successful. I'm growing up, working when I could, but it was when they were older, when I was finally able to like develop a career. And then I was diagnosed with cancer, and
Wow.
that it's a lot. It's a lot.
Mhm.
So without going into all the details, it was pretty bad. There was a lot of treatment involved. There was a lot of tears. There was a lot of scary times. I have the very, very best friends. And right when I got to the point where I thought, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. They went and they got me a jar. It's just a glass jar, and it is filled with dirt, and it has a sunflower on top, and it had messages like, you are loved, you are worthy, you can do this. And I would take that jar of Kansas dirt with me to treatment, to appointments, to when I said I can't do it anymore. And I'd just open that jar of dirt, and I would smell Kansas, and I would smell home, and I would know, I could do this. I could.
Mhm.
So you can always go home. That's an amazing story, and a story of resilience and overcoming so much. It's amazing to see you here today, and I'm so grateful that you're here today with us, Traci, because that's amazing and a great story. I do have another question though, because there was a time when you first started out in sales that you weren't sure that you were going to continue car sales. You weren't sure. What helped you get over that hump and helped get you to now where you're selling upwards of 40 cars a month?
So I mean, it wasn't good. When I tell you I was terrible, You look at the new people that come in, and I try to remember when they do come in that I was one there. Because I was really bad. Everything that I could possibly do wrong, not only did I do it wrong, but I did it wrong over and over and over. So after, like a month, I just knew when I started, I was going to come in and I was going to excel. I could sell furniture. I could sell anything. Why couldn't I sell a car? And my first month, I didn't sell anything, nothing. My second month, like 1.5 cars. I mean, I was like, I don't know why they didn't fire me, to be honest. I don't know why they didn't. They saw something, and they knew that I was putting forth the effort. I just wasn't having the results. Right. So I searched out. It's like, there's got to be something more. There has to be, what are the people that are successful? What are they doing that I'm not doing? Because everyone else at the dealership was selling, but it wasn't clicking. That wasn't clicking with me. Right. So at that point, Rise and Grind was at its prime. I would watch the Rise and Grind show every morning. With Glenn Lundy. He had done like a 30-day thing. And so I was in that, and then it ended, and it's like, well, what's next? Sean Hayes, who I absolutely adore. He did a 30-day program. And so I jumped onto that. And then I was hoping he would continue. And then he didn't. And I was like, I'm still not getting the results that I need to get. It was getting better, but it wasn't consistent. It was kind of a roller coaster. So then I met Frank Crinity.
He's such a great one.
I don't even know how to talk about Frank without crying. I owe my success in automotive to Frank. So Frank had a group, and there was like 15 of us that started, and it was really expensive. And I was like, who would pay that kind of money for training? Who would do that? And I was like, I'm going to find a way. And so it was every Wednesday for an entire year. And we were Frank's OGs, and we started, and we learned how to do everything that Frank does. My very best friend in automotive was in that program with me. And Frank, I still talk to him not daily, but very, very frequently. And so he told me there was a better way, but you have to really apply, and you need to do things the right way, and you need to be consistent, and you need to be the mayor of your town, and you need to, put yourself out there, and you need to do the uncomfortable. And so I learned and slowly started making changes in my process. And so with the changes in my process came success.
What a story, and what a testament to Frank.
Yeah, he's such a great guy. I don't know if you've ever had him on your show, but
no, we need to. We've talked about it.
Yep.
We met him actually at the same party at Digital Dealer in Vegas, and we talked about him coming on the show. And then I just don't know that we've connected since then. What would you say of the tips that you learned between Frank and Sean and Glenn that has been, the one key point that if anybody takes anything away from meeting with you to help their business is the one thing that propelled you forward the most?
Probably what I have gained. There's probably two things. One of them came from Ollie Rita, and that is there is no beginning. There is no end. Every day is December 31st. Every single day. So you need to have your mindset that every day is December 31st. You never take your foot off the pedal. You never coast into a month. You never say, okay, you've got to keep the momentum going. And from Frank, it's all my fault. Good results, my fault. Bad results, absolutely my fault. Personal responsibility, personal accountability. If you don't like it, change it. But no, it is all your fault.
Right. Wow.
That's huge.
That's hard. That's
That
hard.
was deep too. Yeah, that's
It's like really hard. It's like, but, and he's like, no, it is your fault. I mean, you had a bad month. That is your fault. It is not the economy's fault. It's not that there's no cars on the ground. It's not the customers suck. It is your fault. Fix it.
So Traci, I've got two questions in one here, but my first one is, you were brand new to the car business. How did you find those connections to those people so early on in your career?
So through Jesse.
Okay.
So Jesse, you guys have met.
Yep.
He actually was in automotive, and he went to Hustle and Grind years ago.
Okay.
Back before I even knew Jesse, he went to Hustle and Grind, and he actually met Glenn, Frank, and Sean there. And so he had let me know, hey, Sean's got a thing going. You wanna try it out? And one of the things about Sean, which was really cool, is there was so much of it that was not automotive related. It was working on yourself personally. It was nutrition. It was fitness. It was like, what does this have to do with selling a car? But truly, there's so much more to selling a car than going and selling a car. Like, are you ready to sell a car? Is your mind ready? Are you physically ready? Are you prepared? There's a lot that goes into that. And so Jesse had met all of these people, and so he made the connections for me. And then after our year with Frank ended, a few months after that, the Pinnacle Society was founded. And so I transitioned over to the Pinnacle Society.
And you're still with them.
Absolutely. I am a founding member.
That's awesome.
I have been with them from the beginning.
That's so
really
cool. So is it after you joined Pinnacle that you came up with your branding and your logoing and stuff like that? Because that's really big with Pinnacle.
Absolutely. So we had talked about it with Frank, but I hadn't landed, because you don't want to build a brand just to build a brand. You don't want to just throw something out there. You want to have a reason, have a story. Otherwise, your brand is not going to stick. It's not going to mean anything if you don't resonate with your brand, if you are not your brand. But I would like to believe that everything about me is my brand. That is who I am.
I believe it, especially after hearing the stories that I've heard today. Traci, one more question for you on this training. Was this something that you invested in yourself, or that the dealership invested in you?
So initially the training with Frank, I honestly, I didn't have the money. I was starting out in automotive. I wasn't making great money then. And it was a hard sell with them. It was like they split the cost with me, which
Nice.
was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I am so grateful. And honestly, if it would have been me asking me, I would have said no, because I hadn't shown that I earned that. I hadn't deserved that. I hadn't done anything that would give any idea this is what would happen. I'm so incredibly grateful that they took that chance on me. They're a really great dealership. They've been very, very good to me.
It sounds like it. It sounds
Absolutely.
like they invest in your guys' personal growth,
Mhm.
especially you.
They do.
Yeah.
And, they definitely are super supportive when I go to a conference or when I go to a Pinnacle training or anything. They're always super excited to hear what I learned, what I tried. I have Zoom calls twice a month on Wednesdays with the Pinnacle group. And, we're always learning something new and trying something new, and it doesn't always work. But it always is something you've got to keep growing, because the automotive industry changes so frequently.
Yep.
So what worked last week and what worked 6 months ago, that may not be what works next week. You've got to move
True.
with, before COVID, everyone came into the dealership. During COVID, you had to learn a different way of selling, and we do have a different way of selling at our dealership. So you just have to move with it.
Absolutely. And I think that this is another testament to how imperative relationships are in this industry.
I don't want a transactional selling process.
Nope.
I want a relational one. I want to know that, not only have I sold you a vehicle, but when your brother, cousin, daughter, son, when they need one, you're like, oh, I've got a girl. I know somebody. She can help you. I had a great experience. And that's what's so important, is being able to have that relationship selling.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think that you have a really neat kind of thing that you do after you deliver a vehicle. Do you mind sharing that?
Not at all. So there is a local baker, super fantastic bakery, and they make customized cookies for me. So every customer upon delivery, I have a yard sign that matches my banner. So there's, photos that are taken at delivery, of course. And then they get a box with a gift. And then there is customized cookies in there. So there's a sunflower. There's one that matches my business card, my logo. There's one that says Team Traci. There's one that says thank you. And then, of course, a personalized handwritten thank you card.
What a great idea. Now, is that something that you thought of on your own, or was that part of the training that you went through?
Definitely. Everyone doesn't do cookies. Everyone does something that's unique to them. So depending on where you are, one of my best friends in automotive, his name is Duck. So he gives out ducks at delivery. Well,
Okay.
Of course, a duck's not going to work for me. And no one wants like a cheesy sunflower. Here's a little sunflower.
Yeah.
No one would want that, but who doesn't love cookies? Really, who doesn't love them?
It's a great idea. And it's it's creative. I love it.
So they get cookies.
I love that. So something I thought about earlier, we kind of skipped past it, but I want to go back to it. So Jesse is who got you in specifically at Jim Falk.
Yes.
And obviously you guys are married now.
We are.
Is he still at the dealership?
He is not.
What
So he was at the dealership when I started. I was actually a little stinker. They were having a hiring spiff, and that's how I was hired. But of course, he didn't share that information. No, he didn't share that information with me. He was like, "You would be so good," and I was like, "Why are you so pushy on this?" Okay, I'll go apply. What I didn't know is, of course, he was being incentivized for me being hired, and then for me staying.
Yep.
Of course. And he never even split the profits with you.
He didn't even tell me. I found out like 6 months after that when I saw the spiff paper, and it's like, what is this? So that is something I will probably never let him forget. He is actually a contractor. So he's left automotive and has went into construction.
So I have to know, did you guys get married while you were both still at the store? Because you guys weren't together whenever you got hired.
We were not. We weren't even dating then. No, actually, only me. We got married at a Pinnacle retreat in Florida. So Jonathan Dawson was actually the officiant. Ollie Rita walked me down
That's
the
so
aisle.
cool.
Oh,
And Frank Trinity was Jesse's best man.
Oh my God.
That was
So only I and none of what was really cool, none of the guests knew that it was a wedding until like it happened. It was a surprise
Oh, that's so
to
cool.
everyone except the wedding party.
You should have started with that. That's a good story in and of itself.
Yeah. It was really cool.
I love that story.
So when I tell you that these people are my family, I mean they are my family.
Man, you both have automotive marriage stories. Like you're
Mine, hands down.
Yeah, it does. But her business, was Josh the business development director at the time?
Not when I worked there. He was so the guy who is now
When he married you.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. No. Sorry. I didn't work there then. So when I worked with him, he was service BDR. I left after a couple of years. He ended up becoming the BDD, the business development director, and one of his service BDRs and I are now married, and he officiated the wedding.
Yes.
That is awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, truly an automotive story.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I love that for both of you. What a cool story that is.
That is
amazing.
Yeah.
And amazing relationships built from that and memories for the rest of your life. Like that is just awesome. I love it.
I'll have to send you the video of it later because it was so much fun. I don't know if Bill Stout, I don't know if you know him. He was our flower dude.
That's perfect.
I
you know what's funny?
This video.
He just popped up on my TikTok last night. He just he makes these
his cooking.
Yeah. And he makes like cocktails and stuff like that. So
yeah, he's so much fun. And then Duck Scott Williams stood up for me. So I don't know if you know Duck, but it was so much fun. So much fun. And everyone's branding came into part during this.
Oh, that's cool.
You'll have to send us this video after.
I'll send you the
video. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll send you the
Very
video.
excited to see this.
Yeah, me too. That's awesome.
So what would you say your future in automotive looks like? Where do you see yourself growing to? Do you want to stay in sales?
I do. I mean, I'm sure that I would have had the opportunity to move into management if I wanted to. That's not where my heart is. I love sales. I love the relationship with people. And I love my dealership. So I plan to have my future where I started. Beginning, ending, that's where I plan to be. Now, with that being said, I love women in automotive. I love what is kind of going on, and I would love to expand and kind of be in that arena as well.
Okay.
I love that.
I love that too. That's super awesome. Are you a part of Women in Automotive right now?
I went to the social in Kansas City with you guys, but I mean, not really because I'm just now dipping into that.
Right.
And that is kind of where I want to.
Awesome.
I get so excited to meet other strong, influential women in the field because there is so much really cool stuff in automotive and people just don't realize. And there's so many opportunities.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're actually getting ready to do another social in New Jersey. It'll be passed by the time this airs, but it is sometime in August. I think we're moving the date around a little bit, but
yeah, we dorkingly scheduled it for August 1st. First of the month. Yeah.
Why did you do that? I mean, we schedule our lives, vacations, everything around. We don't do things on the first week of the month.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
We're in the middle of changing the date right now. Of course, by the time this airs, the event will probably have already happened. But at the time of recording this on July 17th, we don't know when it is.
Yes. But it will be in August.
We'll be there, though.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome.
So we're excited about that.
If you, just one last question, if you could give a piece of advice to anybody fresh starting the automotive industry like you were 6 years ago, what's the one piece of advice that you would give them, male, female, anybody just brand new to the industry, sales, service, anything, to help them make sure that they make it another day?
Don't let the opinions of someone else dictate your future. There are so many opportunities. There is so much out there. Forge your own path. Just don't try to Don't try to copy off of what someone else is doing, because that's not where your heart is. That's not where your path is. Forge your own path, make your own way, and never give up on yourself. Just know that even when it seems like you can't go on anymore, just dig deep, dig a little deeper, and keep going.
Love that.
Perfect.
Traci, I can imagine we have a lot of young people coming into the automotive industry that are new to the industry that might want to connect with you when listening to this show later on. So where is the best place that people can reach you at?
I always answer my phone. So my number's on the banner. You can also connect with me on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I'm there.
All the socials.
Traci, all the socials. I'm there. But really, if you have a question, pick up the phone, call me. I'd love to chat.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Traci, for taking the time out of your day to
welcome.
talk with us, because it has meant the world. I love your story. I love everything that you stand for and all that you are. And I am so proud of you for making it through the last 6 years to where you are now, because that almost 40 cars a month does not come easy.
No, it's hard. And, I am only as good as the team that is around me. So my success is not just mine. If I didn't have the management that I have, the owners that I have, the finance managers, the desk managers, all of that, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
Right.
I love that.
I do too.
A lot of people forget to give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I am not successful on my own.
That's awesome. But you do a great job on your own.
I mean, I am successful, but it takes the entire team, and you are only as strong as your weakest link. So,
Man, Traci's been fire at us
She
today.
is,
Gosh dang it.
Wow. All right.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on today.
You are very welcome.
In a world where you can be anything, be kind, because you never know what battles others are facing. So whenever you go out into the world this week, remember to light it up. I'm Jess.
I'm Shasta.
And this is Traci. And we've been the Chicks in Charge. Thanks for tuning in.
Yay, you've made it this far. And if you want to help the chicks out and add some value, make sure you subscribe right now.
Click that little red button down below. Do it. Do it now.